All right, we're recording. How are you today?
I'm doing really great, thank you.
And you mind introducing yourself?
I don't mind at all. I'm Elisha. I'm the owner of Grassroots Health in Chattanooga.
Okay. How's that going for you?
It's going really, really well. We're about to open a second store in Fort Oglethorpe, so we love seeing how hemp is impacting the community in a positive way.
Do you get nervous running a store? Because I've heard of the Candy Crush and all that out in Memphis and things like that.
Yeah, we stay in touch with all of those things. One of the things that we do to our store that's unique from other stores is that we actually take our products to the Chattanooga Police Department. So when we get new products in, we take the lab reports and a sample of the product directly to the narcotics department so that they know what we're selling. We have a clear line of communication, that we stay on top of what they consider illegal versus what is actually in the law. A good example of that recently was that they had told us that kratom was illegal, and we had seen differentiating reports that it would be actually legal in Tennessee. So once the police department knew that it would be legal, they actually called us and said, "This is legal now." So
Oh, wow, they're really working with you, huh?
They are, and it's a two-way relationship. So we try to make sure that we put our part towards it so that everyone is in a good position.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many people are walking in there with pot saying, "Here, check it out. It's legit." Yeah. Well, how does keeping up with your staff go around here?
It's difficult. They are almost all students, so they have their class schedule and homework and things like that, and we make sure they understand our first priority is their safety, and then our second priority is that we know they're students, and so we want to make sure we accommodate when they need to be off for test or anything like that.
Yeah, it seems like we're coming out of the dark ages of cannabis, so kind of keeping people up on knowledgeable. Is that something you talk to them about before you hire them on, or just kind of teach them as you go?
No, it's part of our interview process. People have to already know about it. Being a good smoker isn't good enough to work here because everyone thinks they're the best smoker in the world.
Right.
So we have to make sure that people understand what we're working on. We send our staff to even California to get good education, and we are also staying on top of it and the management level as well. So we have monthly trainings where we go over different things. We buy books. With these being students that mostly work here, they're used to studying, and they're actually almost all want to work in this industry in the future. So they all pretty much view that this time they spend studying now will help them in their future career in the industry. One of the students that works for me is a chemistry major, and he actually took beginning stages of research to his professors and the department at UTC and was trying to get some availability to research in their labs there. The answer he got was, we don't really understand a lot about hemp. We recognize that it's legal, but we want to hear more. Here's a $650 scholarship. So they actually gave him 3 semesters worth of $650 so that he can use that money to study the product even more.
That's actually really encouraging for me to hear, just because I feel like being in Tennessee, especially Chattanooga, it seems like we're just so far behind the power curve. But again, it's really nice to see shops like yours opening up and finding out that people are going to their teachers and things like that. Where does it kind of come into working with patients? Seems to be different than, like you said, just being a great smoker. It's just kind of like there are people that do have needs, and understanding how the medicine is going to affect them. And some of that is just trial and error. I mean, how is that going?
Well, we really try to understand what the patient's goal is, or in our case, the customer. And we talk to them about our experiences using the products, because we can't really market it as a prescription or that it's a medical product. We have to market it as a nutritional supplement because it's not regulated by the FDA. So what we do is we kind of narrow down if they say they're looking for sleep or they're looking for stress relief, and we really make sure we bury down into the real core of what their goal is with the product. And that's typically a question we say, what's your goal with your product, or what are you going to be using it for? And then we talk about our experience using these products. Every product that we have in our store has gone through our process of testing. Then we look at their lab reports, we look at online reviews and expert reviews, we look at the methodology of how they're extracting the CBD. We make sure that we have products that are marketed for all kinds of conditions, and make sure that we're actually covered in neurological conditions or pain conditions or sleep conditions, that we have products that are targeted for those demographics.
What are some of your top selling products or the favorites? Is it the flower? Is it the lotions? Or
It's mainly tinctures. Mostly people want to get a good solid line of treatment, and with the fat soluble products like oils, you're going to get more consistency. When you take it, it's going to have a longer effect. It takes longer to feel, but it lasts longer in your efficiency. And then people oftentimes will include a smokable product or a water soluble product with their fat soluble products so they can get some instant relief. So for instance, if a person comes in and tells us, I have anxiety, what should I take? We generally say you should take something with oil that's fat soluble and will give you all the time anxiety relief, and then have something as a rescue medication, that like an inhale vape pen, or you can have a gummy that's water soluble. Any of those things, you're going to feel relief much faster than you do on the oil soluble products.
And people always like it when I tell them they can take it with pizza because the fats in the pizza will help get it in the system.
Yeah, definitely.
What got you into this?
Well, I have Crohn's disease and rheumatoid arthritis, so I was homebound for about 6 years because
those aren't easy to deal with.
Yeah, it was my pain level, really. I didn't get any rest at all because of the pain in my joints, and I wouldn't take any sort of opiate. I have a family history of addiction in a variety of forms, and so it really scared me, especially since at that period of time I had a really young daughter. And she's 15 now, and she loves being around here. But anyway, I started taking hemp bombs capsules. My mom got them at a trade show, and I got a great night of sleep. And I thought, wow. And it was a little cost prohibitive to take it all the time. So I started seeking out some other ways that I could take CBD. And I started using it in the patch form and in topical forms, and by now I use it in pretty much every part of my day. But at that period of time, I started getting more rest, and then I was able to actually get out of the house, and I started understanding that those resources weren't there for everybody. Not everyone could find this or knew about it or understood it, and there was really a gap in the market as far as supplying it in the Chattanooga area. So in June 2017, when it was the Bessie Smith Strut, I opened the doors, and I was blown away. I put the store here because I thought pipes, college students, money.
Right.
And it turns out that my actual customer base is about age 50 to 65, people that are looking to either come off of opiates or not go on opiates. So we sell a lot of topicals for people that are, knee pain or back pain that they're just starting to treat. And then we also have some dry herb that is marketed for post-addiction withdrawal syndrome. So we have a lot of customers that are coming in almost daily to get their stress relief and keep them from going back into their addiction pattern.
Have you had much experience, whether in Colorado or California or any other states, with the CBD and the THC mixture, and how does that work for you and your ailments?
Well, THC is illegal in Tennessee, so none of our products have over the 0.03% THC rate. We do have customers that come in and say, I want something with the highest THC possible. I have traveled to California and Colorado and looked at the products there, and the gap that I saw there was not enough CBD in products. So even if you're getting like a 1-to-1 recreational product, you're getting at the most 100 milligrams of CBD, which for the long-term treatment, that's really not enough. So what we look for here in most of our products that are oils start at 300 milligrams. So you're seeing a much higher level of CBD in the products that you get in CBD-only states. I foresee the market there adding more hemp and more CBD into their products, because when in my opinion, when people are talking about medical marijuana, they're looking for the CBD part of the product. Now, THC does have its benefits. It helps the products cross the blood-brain barrier when it's a neurological condition, like seizures or headaches. That a little bit more THC is really helpful, and hopefully in Tennessee soon we'll have a low THC oil availability. Georgia, right across the border from us, they are going to have that this year.
Yeah, I noticed something new just happened down there. I haven't quite got up to speed on the specifics, but
so they have been allowed to have low possession of low THC medical marijuana oil. However, you can't purchase it, sell it, or make it, or grow it. So it was a little odd of how you could get a prescription for this item but not obtain it. So their laws are being drafted so that those availabilities will be there for their residents. It's hitting some pushback. There was some local news recently about Dade County is not in favor of it, the Sheriff's Department. I think there are a lot more hoops to go through there, but even if it passes this year, it'll be 2-3 years before we see stores and all of that.
what do you think is going to happen this year in Tennessee? Because we're pushing a lot of different bills, and last year we just got shut right down.
I don't foresee the governor letting any of those through.
Bill Lee?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think
he's
so
on
either.
record against medical marijuana, and he's not a fan of CBD either.
Yeah.
So right now, my main goal is to not see the regulations rolled back in Tennessee. I think that if any of the either decriminalization or expungement or laws passing medical go through here, he'll veto them all. And he signaled that he will.
Yeah, I mean, he's came right out and said it. And it's kind of disheartening too, just because, I mean, these points have been made over and over and over again, but yet we still seem to be kind of stuck in some of that prohibition mindset, the reefer madness. But even myself, a veteran, I got my first medical card in 2005, been in Colorado, California, the industry for a long time, and it's just, I'm not a criminal by nature. The only thing that makes me a criminal is the marijuana laws. Mm-hmm. And other than that, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, And so it's quite frustrating that in some states I'm completely legal, and others they're just going to lock me up first chance that they get.
Yeah.
What do you do with your products to kind of help Chattanooga police recognize, oh, this came from the grassroots store?
Well, if you buy flour here, it always leaves here in a sealed bag, and it has our label on it, and we know what it was and what the weight was. And we can show our customers, we have a little form that they can take home with them that says, this looks and smells like an illegal product, but is actually hemp, and we have the statute written on it in case they get pulled over. We tell all of our customers, treat it like it's an illegal item, even though it's totally legal, because, I can see their point of view. It's really hard to tell what is what, and the issue is, you don't have to be breaking the law to get arrested. You can be completely innocent.
Right.
And we try to take that possibility away for our customers and make sure that the police understand we're not supplying a party here. We're here to help people that have real medical issues, and that's our goal.
Yeah, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation came right out and said we can't tell the difference in it. Yeah. And I think a lot of times that there's kind of a misunderstanding on what it is because people... Or help me clear this up, because what I get a lot of is people calling it hemp, but hemp is the male version of the pot plant, which is for fibers and things like that. But CBD flower is still the female. It's just been bred for low THC and high CBD.
Well, there's a difference in the plant structure. Hemp is like squat and broader leaves, and then when you look at marijuana, it's taller and thinner leaves, so you're able to distinguish the plant on sight, but once it's dried and hung, they look all the same. The outdated version, a lot of people will say like indica, sativa, do this, do that. It's really down to the terpenes that are in the plant and how those terpenes interact with the CBD and your ecocannabinoid system. And I know this is clouding up the issue when I talk about it, but the the point is that you're looking for the medical benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you are breeding the plant, like you said, to reduce the THC in the plant, what you're seeing in the science now is they're able to get strain specific with hemp. So like you said, the hemp fiber and to make rope and things like that used to be the purpose for hemp, and that was extremely low margins. What the farmers are finding now is that, if I breed this one strain and I can have the low THC, I'm going to make a lot more out of this product. So marijuana, when it's grown, they also grow it for looks and for trichomes and for colors, and we're seeing those advances now into hemp also. So we have a few purples and things like that, and it's every day someone comes in and says, "Man, is this weed?" And we're like, "Don't say that word."
Yeah.
Don't say that. It's hemp.
I know, because head shops, I always can't say certain words in the head shop just because.
Yeah, if we know that you're using the product for an illegal purpose, we can't sell it to you. So even if a person comes in and says, "I'm trying to pass a drug test," we're like, "We can't sell you anything, man."
Yeah, I always say I need an herbal cleansing and my kidneys are acting up. It's about time to get those cleared out for the year.
Yeah, we tell people to ask for detox.
Yeah. So what are your plans, and what are your hope to see your growth as a company, as a business, grassroots?
Well, we've had several people approach us for franchising, and so that's something that we're working on. We're opening our new store in Fort Oglethorpe in the next few weeks. Definitely we're planning for 420. We're going to have a huge event here then, musicians, artwork, all those types of things. And on occasions like that, we always have a prize wheel and people get stuff. We're also really motivated to make sure the people in our community know our store goal. We're a mission-based organization. We have a charitable arm, which is called Fund 129, and that's from Genesis 1:29. I give you all the fruits of the earth, and we are investing in programs that help curb opiate abuse. Specifically, we target veterans. We give to the American Legion. They're the largest marijuana lobbying group on the behalf of veterans, so we make sure that we stay plugged in to the needs and that we offer what is being requested out there.
Yeah, you do have a really beautiful store. Did you design that, or did you bring somebody in to kind of...
I did it. My dad has a store on Highway 58. It's called Smokestack, and it's more of the traditional head shop where it's kind of dusty and mysterious things hanging out in there. What I wanted to do was to bring the West Coast influence into the shop and make it a really open environment so that the people that are aged 50 to 65 feel comfortable coming in. It's really important to us to be open and available to everyone. So we keep wide hours, 10 to 10 every day of the week except for Sunday. We do 12 to 6. And we want to make sure that everyone has access. Safe, easy access is important to all groups, and we want to make sure that we have all of that available.
Yeah, I think you did a good job with the design. Every time I walk in here, I'm just like, oh, this is a cool place to be.
Well, we want to make sure that we're keeping that professional front, right?
Right.
So in the room we are now, it's
kind of looks like a Starbucks.
Well, it's a consultation room, so that people that want to talk about their medical conditions but don't want to talk about it in front of everyone.
Oh, that's a nice option.
And they want to have like a private consultation, or for people that are older and they want to make sure they don't have to stand around and wait. We set appointments, and we take appointments, and we'll discuss with anyone about what they're thinking about taking. We want to make sure that everyone is ultra informed and that they can use their own discernment to decide what they want to treat their health with. If you go to the doctor's office, the doctor's like, "Here, take Lyrica." And you don't know if you actually need Lyrica or if the doctor is getting money from Lyrica to give you Lyrica. So what we do is make sure that people are equipped with all the information they need to make their own decision.
You said you're going to Fort Oglethorpe, is that correct? And that's Georgia, right?
Yes.
How does opening a store in Georgia versus Tennessee? I'm
nervous.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, the Dade County Sheriff has come out against it. I have sent some messages to Lookout Mountain Drug Task Force to try to open up the similar lines of communication that we have here. We're frequently on the news and in the newspaper here, and we make sure that we talk about and praise the Chattanooga Police Department for what they work with us on here. And I really want to forge that same relationship there, and make sure they understand the goal of the store.
Have you actually had to train your staff on raid protocol?
Yes, actually, in one of the conferences that I went to in Colorado recently, they talked about you need to prepare your staff for when the police come in. And so that's so that staff doesn't freak out and make you look guilty even when you're not. So we have our protocol for if the police come in and they ask, we have all of our lab reports in a notebook ready to go. And so if they come in, our notebook has our business license and all of our information. It has our workers' comp insurance in there, proof that we are on the books with everything, that we want to make it clear that we're as legitimate as it can be. And so all of our test results break it down to even the terpenes that are in the flour. So anything they wanted to say, is that legal? We can say, yes, here it is, and here's your copy.
Nice. I'm really glad y'all have taken that step with your staff. I'm sorry you have to kind of go through those things, but it's good to be ready than not.
And really, whether it's the police or the customer that's coming in and asking for that information, we have it.
Right.
And part of that is our education for our staff members. They need to know that information too. So whenever a customer comes up and says, I've got really bad back pain, what can I smoke for that? And we'll say, oh, you need something with myrcene in it. This is our highest myrcene strain. And we really want to bring that bud tender atmosphere here to Chattanooga. So we put our effort into it.
Nice. This is predicted a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I hear a lot of chatter that people are like, oh, well, the big corporations are going to come in and take it over. And I really don't see that it has to be. There, regular working people like you and me could band together and build businesses in our own networks and just kind of forego those ultra corporations. Are you working with other businesses in any way?
Yes, definitely. Now, I have heard some close rumors recently about that there's big money in town and where it's going through. There's a big, huge store that just opened in Hamilton Place, and there is another store that's going to have like an Amazon level production environment. I think that small businesses are definitely the way to go when it comes to the hemp products. Of course, the person that's working in the mall isn't going to have the same level of education as my staff that's been here for 2 years, that works really closely with the companies that come in and all of that. But I actually started a little group for the owners of hemp stores in town. I call it Chattanooga Hemp Collective, and it's really for the store owners to exchange information about legalities and give each other a heads up if police are coming through. It's just to keep the lines of communication open to the other stores. I definitely know which stores in town have a certain product, and I send my customers that way because our goal is to get the customer what they need. And then we're partnering with a lab here in town to roll out our own line of oil that will be strain-specific oil. And we'll have a few different goals with the oils, and then it's on from there. We have other things I don't want to spill the beans on yet.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't mind saying about our new store coming because that's already, most people know that. But we have other products in development with different industries in town to really diversify their offerings and diversify our offerings. One that we work with a lot already, Barley Bones, and you can see their treats right over there for dogs. It's chill pills, and so they pick up spent grain from the brewery. So they pick up on this street the grain, and they make their dog biscuits out of the spent grain. So we work with them to have their products here in our store, and we really make sure that we partner with other Chattanooga businesses and help lift them up as well.
Oh, that's really good to hear.
Well, I think doing that, we're gonna keep the industry small. I don't have the experience that you have in California and Colorado as far as big money coming in and seeing that happen, but I I am concerned about it.
Yeah, some of the things, just Colorado specifically, some of the bigger dispensaries, they had this one, I can't remember what the name of what they called it, but it's basically 10 football fields in length to grow. They called it the mothership. Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Their products were good. They were very good at what they did, but for an all organic product that I knew the growers, and I could look at the buds and to see the difference, and it's just very much a more organic, solid product that I want to have for myself than versus a hard. You can drop them and you can tell they got PGRs. They're knocking on the table type thing, and so that's one thing that they were really trying to drive the local small growers out, and I don't want to see that in Chattanooga. Chattanooga is really kind of small, trendy, microbrewery type of stuff, so I'm hoping we can keep that with the same with our grows and extraction labs and things like that.
Well, I even noticed a difference similar to that in Colorado versus Washington State. So when I was there last in Colorado and I went to Native Roots at Native Roots,
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They had only their own grows. And then going to the dispensaries in Washington State, they would be able to tell you, what farm this came from and things of that nature. So we have our local grown hemp, and we have hemp from Washington State, and we pay a little bit more for our local products to help support the farms as far as price per pound that we pay. But when I was first getting it, and it looks really like fluffy and airy versus what we get from out west, which is denser, like you said. And so when people from out west look at it, they're like, wow, this is so fluffy and nice. And people here are like, why is this so fluffy? I want the firmer looking one. So it's interesting to watch that dynamic come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see where it grows. I anticipate our local grows will try to more fit that mold at first to make it look more traditionally like marijuana than hemp, but it'll be interesting to see how that changes over time.
Yeah, you reminded me of my time when I was in Berkeley living there. You could go to the Patients Care Collective, and when you walk up, first time I went, I was with a backpack, and they said, "Are you dispensing to us, or are you coming to buy?" And I was like, that was new to me, but then I realized what they were doing was they were buying from all the growers in Berkeley, and then they would test it on site, and then if it would pass the test, they would sell it right out. So they didn't have their big own grow that they were facilitating. They were just working with local growers, which was great, so.
Yeah, it's a little like Wild West there in California, not like that in Colorado or Washington. You can't just, buy off of anyone. But here, when I was trying to tell people in Colorado and Washington that I just buy from people that bring me their stuff, they were like, no, you don't. There's laws. And I'm like, no, yeah, I do. So I hope it stays that way. I think that's best for the farmer, best for the business. I can decide what I'm going to pay per pound versus, what my customers will pay per pound. And I'm able to better pass on the savings, and it's not as rigid.
Are we having Chattanooga growers come out? Because I haven't seen much.
Definitely. I have about 6 to 8 strains right now from local. There's some in Saudi Daisy. Generally, when someone is planning to grow, they give me a call, ask me what I'm looking for. I get way too many of those phone calls, so when they start asking too many questions, I let them know I'm also a cannabis consultant, and they can pay me per hour to help them with this, because we're focused on the customer here, and I don't have extra time to help the farmers out. But if they want to take consultation time, I can give them good, solid advice on what we see here and what we're looking for, and we know, where the market's going to go by forecasting what happens, out west.
All right, well, we've had a great show, and speaking of time, I want to make sure I don't take up too much of yours. So you want to give everybody how to get in contact with you or your social media links? Or?
Yeah, we have the most level of engagement on our Facebook page that keeps Grassroots Chattanooga, that keeps everyone up to date on the events that we have going on. If people want to know more about the head shop end and the cool things that we have in, like we have a cannabis cigar maker, they want to know about stuff like that.
I actually want one of those. I'll pick one up from you today.
It shows up on our Instagram.
Nice,
there,
nice,
which
wonderful.
is Grassroots Chat.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it.